What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about some of the reviews that have come out from the new Superman movie. Now, let me just say this. This film, based off of what people have told me, because I've had people who have emailed me, in addition to the YouTuber that we're going to discuss who talked about the review, is that this movie is going to be very divisive. It's just as simple as that. Now, I originally was going into this expecting some epicness based off the first teaser trailer. And as I've said before, as more trailers started to come out, I started to realize, okay, this is a different, very, very different tone.
Where's the dog?
And it's going to be divisive in the sense that if you like James Gunn's comedy routines and stuff like that, you're going to love this film.
Ow, ow, stop. Ow, stop. Crypto, ow, ow, stop it, stop. Sit, stay.
If you're aware of all the characters in the DC universe, Green Lantern, that specific Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, and the list goes on, you're gonna enjoy this. Everyone else is either gonna consider it to be meh or they're gonna hate it. Okay, that's the as far as that's what I've gotten from what people have told me and from what I know of the film. That's what's gonna happen. So people who like Christopher Reeves, including myself, right? That large swath of the audience isn't gonna like this Superman because this isn't Christopher Reeves.
Where's the dog?
And as much as I hate that, you have to accept that. It's as simple as that. You have to accept this isn't Christopher Reeves, this isn't Henry Cavill, this isn't Brandon Routh, the list goes on. This is James Gunn Superman. And I think that's gonna turn off a lot of people. It just is what it is. But having said that, there is a YouTuber, John Campia, I believe is his name, and he talks about how he had people who loved the film, but there was one person who absolutely hated the film. Now, I saw the video that he put out, and it seems that he's very much downplaying the person, because there was three people apparently. There was people who loved it, but there was a person who thought it was mid, who was like, it is what it is. And I find that interesting, because you have a person who thought it was mid, but now you also have a person who absolutely despised the film, said it was messy, convoluted, and that adds up. That completely adds up. Because what they are doing, they're making a fundamental mistake. And I think they are bringing in too many characters to an audience that is unfamiliar with James Gunn's universe. I think that's the issue. Because it's not so much of who is a Green Lantern or who is Hawkgirl or who are these individuals. It's very much around the curiosity of who is James Gunn's Green Lantern? Who is James Gunn's Hawkgirl? Who is James Gunn's Superman? James Gunn's Crypto? James Gunn's Lois Lane? The list goes on, because this is his universe and he has to bring life to these characters. And the thing is, there are a lot of people to bring life to. And unless you know what's going on screen and who these people are, you're gonna be lost. And that's why I get where she said, the person who said this was horrible, where it said convoluted, is that there's probably a lot of stuff going on. And if even a half of the leaks are true, and based off of what we've seen of the film thus far, of set pictures and stuff like that, that there is some interportal dimension that Lex Luthor has. And that's gonna throw a lot of people off, because a lot of people are gonna be like, yo, what's going on here? What's happening? I think it's going to be a lot thrown at people, and I don't think a lot of people are going to be fond of it. I think there are a lot of people who are going to be lost, but in addition to that, I think there are a lot of people who just aren't going to like this Superman.
Where's the dog?
Because I'm used to Christopher Reeves, right? I'm not used to a Superman that is yelling and screaming. And they keep bringing up this comic book panel, this page of Superman storming into Lex Luthor's office and breaking the door down. And it's such a intellectually disingenuous position to take, because in that comic, if I'm not mistaken, like Lex Luthor has kidnapped or has tortured his parents. He's kidnapped Lois Lane, but that's why Superman goes in and says, hey, that you kidnapped, tortured, and murdered people. And then he murdered the people who was in on it or whatnot. And they forget that out. And it's just like, well, it's the same thing because look, he's breaking down the door, so he's breaking down the door. It's the same thing.
But Brondo's got what plants crave.
It's got electrolytes.
And it's a brain dead take. And I think you're gonna have a lot of these gun cultists that are gonna celebrate the film no matter what.
Where's Corbin, Luthor?
Who?
I know about Dr. Vale. It's just a matter of time before the police find him.
I'm afraid we already have a window washer. Oh, the silent treatment, eh?
Well, I, on the other hand, could stop them with my detonator.
All right, Luther. Where is it? Where's a detonator?
Oh, yeah, that's gonna be...
Lex, I tried to stop him.
It's fine, Heather. Superman, we finally meet. Would you like a coffee?
Where's the dog?
Dog?
The dog, Luther! You took the dog!
That's right, Eve. Get all of this.
Where's the dog?
It just seems to be very, very hot and freezing cold when it comes to this movie, where he's just really upset. And we don't want to see that. And when I speak for we, I would argue I speak for a majority of audiences. Because a majority of audiences are going to be millennials, they're going to be boomers, they're going to be people who love, Henry Cavill, they're going to be people who love Christopher Reeves. And I think the vast majority of people who are going to like this film, I think they're in the minority. I think they're going to be in the minority. I think this film is going to have a strong opening and it's going to tank. It's just going to tank. You know, you have Jurassic Park, you have Fantastic Four, and I think this film is going to tank because it's going to be too much for the audiences and it's just going to be too different from what we've grown accustomed for this character, for Superman.
Where's the dog?
And I think that it's going to be its downfall. And everything they've shown us is constantly him screaming like a little girl. And, I know the gun cultists want to say, no emotion, but it's emotion, Lucas, it's emotion. And I hear you, but, there's a wide variety of emotions that could, be shown on screen. And what they've shown us thus far is just him being upset. Like, he's so hot-headed and temperamental that he's getting upset, he's getting triggered by his girlfriend asking him questions. They were gonna die. Why are you being like this? And then we go from that to the scene of him breaking down Luther's door and saying, where's the dog? Where's it? It's just like, yo, what? Like, I don't know who you think that appeals to, but I would argue that the vast majority of people, that's not what they want to see in Superman. It just is what it is. Those are my thoughts. And based off of this review, from the person who's actually seen the entire film, I think you're gonna get a lot of more people who come out like that, who just are indifferent to this film or absolutely hate it. I think there will be very few who enjoy this film. Anyways, that's my take. We'll see if I'm true, and I'm probably gonna be true. I'm like, if these were lottery numbers, you should definitely bet on them. That's all I'm gonna say. Nevertheless, if you enjoyed the video, I hope you did. Please feel free to like the button. A comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. Whether or not you're a gun cultist or you're a Snyder cultist, or you're just caught in the middle and you just want a good Superman film, and this doesn't seem to be it. And subscribe. And until next time, guys, keep animating.